I really want to get into just one particular instrument. And as you see, I'm just swiping through. There's so many different instruments. We could go really deep and take a long time really having fun getting into all the things you can do with GarageBand. But Smart Strings is one of my favorites, and you'll see why. So, and you can tell that I do like the orchestra, even though I'm a jazz and rock and roll person also. So here you go, kind of like a representation of the different instruments in the string family. And down here is the grid. Okay? So if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just, you know, this is the highest inversion, then lower and lower and lower. Okay? So that's just by tapping. Okay? And it's a pizzicato, of course, which you can almost make the same motion on the iPad that you would on the string of the instrument. And what about a marcato, right? You would hit the bow, use the bow to hit the string pretty hard. So watch my finger. Okay. So one of the reasons why I love this is because I can actually talk about the actual real-world instrument and have the students experience it with just an iPad in front of them. It's really a great experience for them. The greatest experience of all, and how we teach something so important to music, is, again, if you can watch my finger, you'll see what's happening. As I move my finger faster and faster, we get our crescendo. Then we can slow it down. And all the way down to nothing. Right? And you can imagine, this is exactly what I do with my students. I have them all playing one chord together so everyone hears it clearly, and I try to conduct them, lead them into a crescendo, and you know, they learn to understand that. So they're really getting a real-world experience, hands-on, ears on, and feeling. They're really feeling it because they're actually doing it, okay? And just like a real instrument, you have to work a little bit to make that crescendo and decrescendo smooth. So that's something that some of my students, we work on if they're ready for it. Next thing, in terms of modifying all of this. So there's a lot of stuff here. You know, some of my students are just going to be just overwhelmed with all of this. So if again, I'm sorry. The little wrench there, that's where we go in deeper into the app and make some modifications. So I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to go right here. So, well, you know, just briefly, you can change the tempo, change the key, change the time signature, a few other cool things that you can do. But we're going to focus on edit chords, okay? Remember, I just said there's an awful lot of stuff here. So, well, no, not this one, this one. I'm going to just get rid of a lot of it. So what I'm doing is I'm tapping on each one of these panels. And then I can make the edit right up here. Okay? So I'm just saying none. And you see what happens once I say none, there's no chord name. It's just blank. Okay, but that's only the beginning of what I'm showing you.
It's like taking the bars off an orchestra.
Like taking what?
It's like taking the bars off an orchestra.
Exactly right. Well, that's exactly right, and the same thing with what I did to modify Thumb Jam, in a sense, except that you don't have all those empty spaces in between. It fills in the space. But yes, that's exactly right. So once I say done, those two chords are gone, okay? If I want to go back in and edit, then those panels reappear, but they still are programmed to have no chords and to disappear when I say done. All right? Next, so I can clear the interface and make it visually more easy for my students to follow. But I can also, as you see, I can pick this chord, and if I can change it. So whatever progression I need for my students, I can provide for them. You know, instead of a maybe instead of an E minor, we can make it an E sus, and add, I don't know, add a major seventh. Yeah. Yeah, and we can even change the bass line. Let's make it, put an A in the bass. Let's see what that sounds like. So, you know, all right. All right. So you're not locked into just like basic triads here at all. All right. So you have a tremendous amount of power, a tremendous amount of flexibility. You can get students who may not be that capable of doing a lot of music, but empower them to sound really good. And then they get really immersed. They have a great time. They have this experience that's not just like, you know, the typical music classroom kind of experience. I really believe in giving students a quality experience. I mean, as I'm a musician, kind of also an artist. So I like things to have quality, and I'm really, as much as possible, insistent that my students have the same. And why not? Don't they deserve it? So that's some of the things we can do with GarageBand. Again, I always feel like, I wish I could show you guys more. I mean, you know where to find me and how to find me. I'll be happy to work with anyone if you want to visit my school or whatever, and I'll show you a ton more stuff. So, oh yes, the next app, okay, is Thor. All right. Thor is this powerful synth. This is one of those things where before the world of computers came around, you'd have to spend thousands of dollars on an instrument with this much power. So it actually is a software instrument that originally came with Reason. Anyone know the app Reason? The DAW, the Digital Audio Workstation? Yeah. Reason? Okay, so Propellerhead, it's hard to see the word, but the Propellerhead is the name of the company that makes Thor. I'm going to show you another app by Propellerhead too, but this is a bit of a kind of an advanced place to go with this one, Thor. If you're in Thor, it'll probably look like this initially, something like that. But what I did, or what I'm going to show you, I'm going to say collapse over here, and I'm going to say assist. So I'm going to just tap those two, collapse. And then, I mean, collapse is good. That's already good. So now you have like one chord, all right? And how do you pick which chord it is? You go into assist, okay? So here's, unfortunately, it's not as robust, and you can't edit it as much as you can with GarageBand, but you have a fair amount of choices here. Minor, dominant, major chords, so on, based on whatever key you select here. The color, that actually just means it's changing the amount of voices in the chord, okay? So it changes it from a simple triad to a minor seventh, or a dominant seventh with a ninth, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth, by changing the color. Okay? So just to show you again a practical application with my students. So let's just say we're vamping between C minor and F seventh, okay? 2-5. Right? Just as simple as that. Okay, I'm doing it in kind of an advanced way. I can just have my students, you know, so there's not such a fine margin of error between shifting from one chord to the other. I mean, you know, why not just have them do this? Right? Again, just so you see how easy it is. Okay, so, and here's another thing, another way to use this. I'm going to stretch this out. I'm going to take two fingers just like I'm showing you and stretch the range out. Okay? Hopefully, yeah, here we go. All right. So now I'm going to play those same chords, but I'm going to just kind of make it like an arpeggiation thing. All right. Okay. And you can, you could really get creative with using any sound you want to create this. Actually, I'm not sure if I change the sound. Okay, good. So you can change the sound, but leave all the other settings the same.
Wow.
All right. So, and it's a full-blown synthesizer, so you can go inside here a little too deep for this particular session, but you can go inside and use the knobs and change all kinds of parameters. It's just like a full-blown synthesizer, but on your iPad. All right, so the last thing we're going to do, again, just to show you all the different options, and since you're asking about price, by the way, GarageBand is free. If you pay $5, you get this upgrade that expands it like wildly. But the free version is good. So here's a 99-cent app made by the same company, Propellerhead, which I find extremely valuable. So again, with our students who may not have this, before actually I gave you an example of a student that did have a good sense of rhythm, but maybe needed help with pattern recognition, so we give them maybe a baseline. So here's a student maybe that doesn't have much of a sense of rhythm, but now we get them to just tap their finger on the screen. Let me change the sound. If I change the rhythm, change the rhythm again. Okay, had to do that rhythm myself, just to prove to myself that I could do it. All right. Okay, so also the range. Remember the range from Thumb Jam? Okay, and even though I said before, well, I wish all the apps could, that it wasn't so hard to learn each different app because they're all a little different. At the same time, they're all kind of the same. They use the same kind of language. If you know what range is in Thumb Jam, then when you see it in Figure, well, you'll know what to do. Okay? Scale steps, although you can't pick and choose like you can in Thumb Jam exactly the note of the scale you want, if you pick 5 scale steps, well, you already heard it. Obviously, 5 scale steps is a pentatonic scale. So 7 scale steps is going to be from Ionia. Oh, okay. Well, that's actually a Mixolydian because it's playing on the G dominant in the key of C major. Okay? So you're beginning to get an idea how, again, how powerful. You have to kind of find your way a little differently, but it's very powerful. You can pick the key. This is in the global setting here. That already in our arpeggiator with the rhythm thing. So, yeah, and it was. I mean, that's kind of like what one of the things an arpeggiator can do. But that's just the rhythm control, okay? So if I use 3 or 4 fingers now and put it anywhere, I don't know. So it uses that rhythm to break up the chord. Okay? So you have a really powerful arpeggiator. You know, I mean, this is like awesome. All I was doing there was kind of very slowly sliding my finger to change the note, or one of the notes of the arpeggiator. I have one student, this is, you know, why I love this, just love doing this stuff. I have one student who sits there, I'm going to wrap it up now, but maybe this is a good story to end on. One student who sits in the class, and this is all she does all day. She says, home, home. And then she does this. She flips her hair back. That's if we're lucky. Sometimes instead of doing that, she'll do that to another student. And trying to engage her in anything has just been very difficult challenge. So one day, and this is the last thing I'm going to show you in terms of the app, okay? Landscape mode. We do this, okay? It doesn't look right on the screen because it's not up and down anymore. It's side to side. But in landscape mode, you don't have all those other things in the way. And now, this student just loves, you know, I said she likes to hit. Well, now, she hits like this. And I have gotten her to, instead of just hit like that, I've gotten her to keep her hand there because she hears it. Why would you not want to keep your hand there and hear all that cool stuff? So that's what she does. And so this is how we engage our students. This is how we can empower our students. I say how. It's not the only way. I know there are so many other ways, using technology or not. But this is one of the ways that I've found a great amount of success with. So thanks for you guys being so engaged.